I think people are coming in. I can't hear anyone.
That's because they're muted, Davey.
There's Louisa. Hello, Louisa. How you going? You guys are muted at the moment, I hate to tell you. The Koganvans are here. Hello, I didn't know you guys were coming. Well, welcome, welcome. Oh, now everyone's muted at the moment.
Just like you wanted, Davey.
Yeah, probably for good measure, I think.
Hello, guys. I've got a lot of. I'm having. If it's okay, everyone's on mute apart from the scope people, because otherwise it might get a little bit chaotic. So sorry I can't say hi and welcome to everyone individually, but yeah, I think it's going to be the best way of doing it. Now, I will let you know that I am terrible with technology, so I hope everyone is getting in here. And yeah, I might get someone younger than me to come and look at this shortly and make sure that it's all happening. I'm just waiting for some more people to come on board. I think we got a good number of people on board already, but I just want to give it a minute or so. I know it's 7 o'clock now. Just want to give it a minute or so to get a few more people in, if that's okay. Now, Rebecca.
Yes.
Do you know how to, is everyone coming in now? Like, I don't have to hit another button?
Yeah, no, it's all good, Dave. We're just letting people in. Yeah.
So it's just going to automatically let people in. My apologies, people.
No, I'm clicking tick.
Yeah. It just coming.
Yep. I am horrendous with technology.
Give it a couple of minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes.
John, have you got a song you can sing or something just to entertain people for a minute?
Let me just get my flute quickly. No, I wish.
Excellent. So I think we do have quite a few people in now. Hello, guys. Yeah. Hello, Nugget. How you going? You should be coming on the golf trip with us, Nugget. The Plums are here as well. I can't see you, but hi. Hey, Bex. Hey, Amy. John. Mark Trant is here. Luckily, I can't hear Mark. That's a benefit, so that's good. Happy with that. But guys, I think I'll jump into it because I don't want to take too much of everyone's time. Thank you all for coming here this evening. Really appreciate it. Really good to see a whole bunch of people involved with the meeting. Just for your information, everyone's on mute apart from the scope team, so I do apologise for that. But please, if you have any questions at all, go into the chat room. Definitely type in any questions you may have, and Nick or Alex will be checking the questions as we go. If there's stuff we can cover tonight, we definitely will. But in the interest of time, we'll probably be coming back to people with questions tomorrow or Monday, depending on what the situation is, because we're going to be pretty general tonight. All right. So great to see you, but sorry we can't actually chat. So firstly, again, thanks everyone for coming. I want to give you an introduction on why we're here and what's happening at the moment. A couple of years ago, I actually sold the financial planning business, as most of you would know, because it was getting really difficult for me to try to run the loans business and the financial planning business together. And I didn't have the right level of support, good staff, people in the financial planning area to really help me out. So I sold the business thinking it would be really good for our clients to get people who were concentrated solely on financial planning. Unfortunately, that hasn't worked as well as I hoped it would. And as a result, many of you will know I've negotiated with the guys that bought the business from me and effectively have taken it back. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to make sure that we were given the best possible service we could. And in doing that, I have a great team behind me who are now going to introduce themselves very quickly. Now, what I'm going to do is start with the great Jonathan Poll. He's our senior advisor that's going to be, well, we're all working closely together, but John's going to be the senior advisor in the team. So, John, if you can give a quick introduction of yourself, that would be fantastic.
Thank you, David. While I keep letting some people in, look, I'm not going to give a big spiel about my past experience, but I have been in the industry close to 16 years. I subscribe to a number of bodies for higher standards of ethical service. You know, primarily for me, my whole objective when it comes to giving advice is to know you. If I don't know you, I can't steer you in the right direction. But I've worked at a number of firms, big institutions, smaller businesses like Hills or Scope or previously. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much more time. I know I'm going to give a little bit of insight later in this discussion, but, you know, I'm a very easygoing guy, and, you know, focus is just getting to know you.
I'd like to say I've known John for a year and a half, thereabouts. He was working with me here with the old group. John's basically the only one that's left from the old group that were working here. Because John, I thought, was the best quality person in that group and does a great job for the clients, and I really wanted him to stick around on board. So that's definitely why John's around, and he'll be great to work with, I'm sure, if you haven't already. Secondly, the person sitting behind me who's sort of hovering in the background, this is my poor unfortunate daughter, Rebecca, who gets to work with me part-time while she's going to uni. So she's going to give you a 30-second intro. Come in, Rebecca.
Oh,
Come in a bit closer.
I know it's very crazy that somebody that looked like that has a daughter that looks like this. But
She got very, very
Super
lucky.
pretty, Beck, yeah.
Pretty much I'm just the basic person to go to. If you have any questions, if you have any problems, just if you call us up, I'll be probably the first person to answer the phone, and I'll direct you to whoever you need to talk to. So, yeah.
Also, documentation stuff. If you've got a form to fill in for this or that, Beck's someone that can absolutely help you out. Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. It's excellent work. You can sit back down now. Also in the admin area, we have the wonderful Anjali, who has worked with John for quite some time and is a gun with all things admin. Anjali, you want to give us a quick rundown on what you do and how you do it?
Of course, thanks, Dave. Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet all of you. I've been working in the financial planning industry for the past 7 years, primarily as a paraplanner, and I was also briefly at Work Sorted as a service delivery specialist. So my role here is to mainly help the financial planning team.
Yeah. Anjali is fantastic with things. If you've got areas that you need to look at, for instance, you have got a pension for some of my clients here that might be at retirement age. If you've got a pension and you need to draw money out of that pension, she can help you out getting that sorted really quickly. She's great at getting advice documents together for us and a really friendly, responsive person. So thank you for coming on board, Anjali. And she will be also really great for the clients that we have. Alex Ho, the boy wonder, or he's not actually the boy wonder. He's a bit older than he looks. Alex, give us a rundown. I've known Alex for a long time now, and he worked with us actually for a little while before I sold the business.
That's
so
right.
Alex,
yeah,
tell us.
Yeah, so I imagine a handful of you guys have already met me for a period of time. I worked with the Scope business for about 6 months in 2022. So yeah, obviously when I heard that Dave's coming back on board, buying the book back, I thought it was a great opportunity. So yeah, I've known Dave for a pretty long time, actually since the whole time that I've been in the financial planning industry. So yeah, very, very looking forward to the opportunity that's here. So yeah.
Alex is keen. Alex is switched on. Alex is working in the financial planning area as well, closely with John. And really good all-round knowledge of financial planning as well. So definitely a great guy to have on board. Not so great to have on board, but unfortunately I have to, is my nepotism hire, Nicholas Colton. He's the oldest. This is terrible. He's the oldest of my kids, and he's come on board with us basically because I had to employ him. My wife made me. No, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Nick, tell us, introduce yourself.
Wow. Gee, thanks, old man. I mean, you know, I do get a lot of people telling me how similar I sound to you, and I go, every single time everyone tells me that, I just cringe. I just go, oh no, I'm really going to end up like him at some point. But anyway, guys, look, basically, I worked here a few years ago as well, before Mum and Dad kicked me out to go travel Europe for a year. So basically, with the whole turnover of the businesses, Dad asked me back. He didn't act. It wasn't really, yeah, a little bit of nepotism hire, but you know, he asked me back. So put that on the record. Thank you very much. But basically, I'm just going to be looking after insurance only, guys. So if you need anything, it's a little bit different from the financial planning side. The planners will be looking after super and insurance and everything to do with that. But me, just insurance. So a little bit cutting, a little bit quicker. But, you know, we'll see how we go.
Excellent. Thank you, Nicholas. So that's a rundown of the team as we are at the moment. More than happy to talk to any of you about the team makeup and who's going to be responsible for what. But generally speaking, we're going to be working very closely together. So if you talk to one member of the team, if they don't know the answer to your question or can't help you out, there's always going to be someone here who can. The main goal for me is that everyone works together, because if we're doing that, we're able to give you guys the best level of service and do the best we can for you. So that's the whole thinking behind this. So that's the team. That's what's happening from here on. We took over the business a week ago, officially, and really looking forward to getting into it next year. But let's next talk a little bit about a few interesting points that you probably need to be aware of what's happening, changing in the industry, what's going on with insurance, what's going on with superannuation and funds under management. So what I'm going to do is get Alex to give a brief discussion on general financial planning and how he sees it and how we can help you, and then I'll hand over to John. So Alex, do you want to jump in?
Yeah. So just, I mean, a lot of you probably know, but sort of just quickly revisiting the cause of what financial planning is. So it's probably just important to remember that they all connect, all the different types of pillars. So first one being budgeting. So budgeting is typically the foundation. It helps track your income and expenses. So just so you can stay on top of your goals. Next is saving and investing, which we do. So it's just about making your money work for you. The cornerstone, I guess, of the saving investing is, so you're either building an emergency fund or you're planning for long-term growth, like retirement. And so speaking about retirement, so planning ahead is crucial. No matter where you're at in your career, the earlier you start, the more options you'll have. Nick's going to talk about the insurance, also a key part of that, but it's essential that protecting your assets and securing your future. So the point is, I guess the idea is that these areas are all kind of connected. And so regularly reviewing them helps keep everything on track. And so that, the one thing that I do want to stress after that is how important it is to regularly check up on your financial plan. So I don't know, in the last year, a lot of you, if you've been sort of touch pointed just to check in on your financial plan, just because I understand a lot of things change. So new job, growing family, shifts in the market. All these things can have a big impact on your finances. So a regular financial checkup is vital, just to ensure that you're meeting your goals and you're on track of that. So with all that in mind, it's probably a perfect time to make sure that now that we're back in business, that if you haven't been touch pointed, reach out to us. We've got a list, I suppose, that we're going to go through to reach out to those that probably haven't been spoken to in the last year and a bit. Is that right, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be flat out making appointments to sit down with people again and just reappraise ourselves of exactly where they're at. We won't get to everyone at once because that's where the problems start. But if you've got issues that you need to, cover sooner rather than later, please let us know. But bear in mind, we absolutely will be getting to you in the not too distant future anyway, if there's nothing particularly pressing for you.
Yeah. So I just want to say, so financial planning isn't just a one-time thing. So it's an ongoing process. And yeah, now that we're on board, we're super excited to sort of get you guys, making the most of what's going on. So I think John's going to give now a market update just to give a general overview, I guess, of how things are going.
Just before John does, sorry, John, I also wanted to point out that with the different areas that people are working in, for instance, Nick being solely insurance, there is also going to be cases for clients where John and Alex also look after insurance as well. So it's not just going to be, if you've got an insurance issue, you talk to Nick. Nick's going to be dealing with people.
Feel free. But you can talk to me, feel free.
Absolutely, you can. But Nick's I guess, focus is going to be more on people that absolutely need insurance but may not need particular assistance with, their superannuation. They might be a young couple with not a whole lot of super that they need to look at. That's Nick's focus. John and Alex are going to be dealing with people that absolutely need assistance with their funds under management, their superannuation, their pensions, but also their insurances as well, if there are people that have that sort of crossover. All right. But yeah, we're, again, working as a team. We'll all be, working together on this. But John, tell us what you're wanting to discuss.
All right. I wish I had the 8-ball here for everybody, but that's not the point. I could spend an hour talking about markets, and I'm no asset manager, but I know how things work. There is so much information online in the media every day. The tricky thing with that is if something hits a note, it affects us emotionally. So when I look at information in the media, there's so much of it, and I try and draw on things that are actually relevant to most of our clients, if not all. So my discussion here is not to give you a foresight, maybe a bit of looking back how things have been, a couple of tips or things to remember as part of your strategy. And that's really my intention here today. But as a quick market update, looking past 12 months, I'm not going to regurgitate everything we already know, but there's really 3 or 4 main things that have been of note. It's, the global tensions with conflict, and there's numerous countries involved there, some going longer and some, just recently started. That's a concern for investors because we think, what's that going to mean? What's that going to impact on oil supplies or this and that? The other second one is China always comes up. So, the Chinese government have basically not printed money, but have created a lot of policy stimulus in the sense of trying to get supply. And that's not a bad thing for Australia because we've got a lot of resources. So it's actually a good thing in a way that it's propped up some of our resources and prices there. But it's a thing to note. The other one is, the elections in the US. And there's a handful of people that say, well, gosh, Trump's now in power. He was, back a couple of years ago, and he's got 3 seats now. What does that mean? He's going to change a few policies. Should we get out the market? What's the go there? The other fourth part is more around, interest rates and inflation. Inflation is still a big concern in Australia, maybe not so much in the US and some other countries, but it's moving. It's pivoting a little bit at the moment. So, 2024 has been a very interesting year. But with that said, it's been a very good performing year. Some of the figures I've seen, there's double-digit returns on, people in a balanced or growth portfolio, and some actually in a more conservative portfolio. So it's interesting to note that last year, a lot of skepticism was, what's going to happen in 24? It's going to be a bad year. Yeah, it was a bad year with all these things, but look how the markets reacted and performed. So it's just, I guess, another reminder to not get too distracted about the noise outside, that whether it's geopolitical or policy or politicians. So that's just a bit of history about the last year. You know, it's too early to predict what the economic impact will be with Donald Trump's victory. You know, I've had a couple of people say, gosh, John, shouldn't we get out of the US stock market because it's going to be pretty bad? Should we not get into some minerals and things like that? But I can comment on that soon. Look, I think early indicators suggested that, you know, the next economic cycle may already be underway. Interest rates overseas have tapered off a little bit in the US. You know, in Australia, we probably anticipate mid-25 rates might change. That's not a guarantee. But look at the major central banks, US, UK, EU, Sweden, New Zealand. They've cut their key policy rates, which is basically what the banks agree on to pay and borrow money directly from their government. So there's opportunity in property and infrastructure in that space. Not to say we have to tactically pivot, but having exposure to property and infrastructure is a good thing at this point in time. Just a quick one on just this one measure. It might be over the top of some people's heads, but it's important. It's called a Purchasing Managers Index. It's an indicator of prevailing direction of the economic trends in manufacturing and services sector. So services is the driver of growth in a country. So the US, Eurozone, Japan, China, they're all above the mark, where there's a bit of expansionary in the growth, which is a positive sign. Yeah, so other than that, I might just touch on one very important point here. It's people say, gosh, if markets are really top end now, high, why invest now? Shouldn't we wait for a correction to get in at the bottom and then, you know, rising tide lifts all boats? Not necessarily. The statistics show that over the long term, on average, if you invest at a high point, and there's multiple high points, it could be every second day or every week or every, you know, quarter. If you invest at the high point, as opposed to when markets drop, you know, beyond 10%. So if you invest at the top or below 10%, you know, correction, over 5 years on average, you make the same return. So statistics show that whether you invest now or when markets correct, it doesn't really matter for the long term. The other important point that I just want to summarize here is what drives returns. There's mainly two things: asset allocation and diversification. You've probably heard diversification, the D word, so many times, and it's boring, but it makes sense. Asset allocation is where your money sits globally or locally or in cash and property. That's what drives returns. If you try and time the market and miss out on the best performing 10, 20, 50 days over a 15-year period, it's a significant negative impact. So the message here is time in the market pays off long term. And diversification really just talks about, you've got your asset classes, so Aussie shares, international shares, but within each asset class, you need to diversify very well. So whether you don't want to be in just large companies in Oz shares, you want to be in maybe small and mid caps, maybe a little bit, to diversify, or profitable companies. The other diversification factor is investment style. And I'm not going to talk about that right now, but a lot of different funds in the market have different styles. So considering this and knowing that what you guys want to achieve with your super or investment or wealth growth, it really boils down to what's relevant to you. So what do I mean by this? Your circumstances are very different to everyone else's. Me as an advisor, my goal is to try and tailor an investment solution that fits your goal to help make better, consistent returns over time. Sticking to a diversified goal-based strategy over the long term is what makes sense. We're not here to outperform the market. We don't want to underperform. But if we can do something in the middle, a little bit higher, which we have been doing over the past, that's a good outcome.
All right, John, thanks for that. I'm sure everyone can see here that John knows probably more about this stuff than I do. That's why I've got him on board. John and Alex and Anjali will absolutely be keeping an eye on how your investments are going, how your super's going. Happy to talk to you about, you know, potentially changing it depending on your life circumstances and where you're at. But definitely the point is they know what they're talking about. They're more than happy to help you and talk to you at any time that you want to, right? But he won't talk that long about the different investment styles when you do talk to him, okay?
Yeah. Well, on that note, Dave, it depends on you guys. If you want more bang for your buck when it comes to education and understanding markets, you can squeeze every drop of the lemon out of me. If you just say, John, I'm okay and comfortable what you say, I trust your advice, that's fine. I don't need to bombard you either.
Just put aside 3 hours one night and get John to have a chat with you about it. It'd be great. It'd be great. Anyway, thank you, John. That's really good. Good to hear and great to have you on board. Final little discussion. Nicholas is going to mention, a lot of you have got insurances. Nick's going to mention some probably scary statistics on insurance lately that he's found. So, Nick, what do you got for us?
Yes, alrighty, guys. So I love being the poster child of the very, very fun insurance side of it all. But look, my whole thing is to just try to be as quick and efficient with you as possible, get as good a deal for you as I can, review your insurances. I know some of you may not want to, but it's a great time right now, especially in the sort of climate that we have right now. Speaking of stats, look, insurance premiums across Australia, across every single client, has raised 15% in the last year, and that is insane. Like in terms of that, even further, Aussies are paying $1 billion more as compared to 2023. So right now is an amazing time to have a look, at least a review of your insurances. And I know the first thing a lot of people say is the insurer won't pay. They won't pay. They never let me pay out the claim. No. One of our best insurers, NEOS, they've paid out over $107 million worth in claims over the last few years. So that is insane if you ask me. Look, one of the greatest things about insurance as well that I like to argue is not everyone, but the majority of people need it too. Look, your friends, your family, the bloke you go to the pub with, your gym crush, your office spouse, even your parents-in-law, everyone needs it. So I'll leave the spiel at that. But look, if there's ever a time where you feel like you're paying too much for your insurances, or you want a little bit better of a deal that better suits you, give me a call. I'm more than happy to help, and we'll do it as quick as humanly possible. So that's basically me.
Like that presentation, as quick as humanly possible. I think you got about 1,000 words in 1.5 minutes. And can I say, the guys that you go to the pub with, Nick, absolutely should be looking at insurance for themselves. They would need it 100%. So I think we've covered pretty much everything we wanted to cover. I just wanted you guys, everyone that's joined, and thank you for doing so, I wanted you to meet the team. We're fairly well balanced, fairly relaxed, friendly people. We want to talk to you. We want to help you out. Previously, I was a little bit hamstrung in that area because I didn't have enough people or the right people working with my clients. But now I've got 100% confidence in having these people on board with me, working with you. You'll find they're great people to talk to, great people to help out, knowledgeable people, and people that are going to get back to your phone calls. They are going to spend time with you. They are going to do things in a timely fashion. That's something that I feel dropped off a little bit in the last couple of years, and I do apologise for it, but it wasn't my business at the time. It was the guys that bought it from me. So I'm really looking forward to hitting the ground running hard next year. I know there's not much longer to go this year. but we really want to hit the ground running and get into this and help out as much as we can. Can I ask, just before we go, were there any questions there in the chat, guys, that... No? Oh, good. Everyone's heard everything they
There you
need
go.
to.
Everyone's happy. There you go. We're expecting thousands of calls tomorrow. Thank you very much.
No, wait a minute. I don't want thousands of calls tomorrow. Tomorrow is our Christmas party, right?
Oh, true.
It's a Scope Christmas party tomorrow. So you need to call us before 1 o'clock if you're going to call us, all right? I'm not going to promise any answers to questions after 1 p.m. tomorrow, all right? But look, it's really great that you've come along. I really do appreciate it. Look forward to dealing with you more into the years to come. And please remember that anything you need finance-wise, give us a call anytime, all right? So,
yeah, and Dave, just on
sorry,
that
John?
point, and just to add to that, even if you think it's not a smart question, or, you know, some people sometimes feel shy to ask stuff, we are here to answer questions. You got some people that want as much information as possible, and you get some people that just want one question answered. Doesn't matter what the spectrum is, reach out to us. If we don't have the answer on the day, we will try and find it or put you in touch with the person that has the answer.
Yep, perfect. Now, Beck, have you got 10 seconds of anything to say, Rebecca?
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to hear from you guys next year.
Excellent. Alex, you got something?
No, just jumping on John's point. No question's a silly question. Look, all ears. Yeah, we're just here to help.
Thank you. Angelie's going to love this. Anything, Angelie, just to sign off and say see you later?
All good on my end, but it was nice meeting all of you and looking forward to talking to you all more.
Good on you. Thank you. And Nicholas? No, he's got nothing to say.
I've got
Excellent.
something to say. I have something to say, everyone. Look, all I want to do is help you guys. And just rest assured, if you do ask me a question, you will hear back, because my old man is working literally 2 meters away from me. If he gets wind that I don't get back to you, it'll be me done. So you'll always
Absolutely.
know I'm always here for you guys. Happy to help.
Excellent. On that note, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for your time tonight. Enjoy your Christmas and New Year. Have a safe time, a great time, and we'll catch up with you real soon, okay? Thanks,
Yes.
everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks.
See you
Have
later.
a good Christmas
See
and
ya.
New Year's,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.